guys, and welcome back to the Player YouTube channel. And what an appropriate place we are in to do a review on this, the GLS from Mercedes. And this isn't just any GLS, this is the 350D 4MATIC AMG line. Let's get it out on the road and see whether this is worth £83,000. The Mercedes GLS is a vehicle billed as the S-Class of SUVs. It's a luxury conveyance for those whose real, or more likely imaginary, commute is from a craggy mountaintop in the middle of nowhere. You'd probably know this model better as the GL class, but Mercedes has updated that design with smarter styling, greater comfort, more agile driving dynamics, and its best-in-class safety standards, hence the change in the badgework from GL to GLS. Whatever you want to call this car, it sits within Mercedes' SUV range, midway between the recently introduced GLE class that replaced the old M class and the huge Go Anywhere G class that's really for the off-road enthusiasts, albeit for those with a winning lottery ticket in their pocket. So, the first thing you're going to notice about the GLS is its sheer size. I mean, it's over 5 metres long and almost 2 metres wide, and it weighs in at a portly 2.5 tonnes. But check this car out, guys. I mean, it is stunning. This beautiful, sexy grille and this dinner plate sized Mercedes logo on the front. I mean, you're really not going to miss that in your rear view mirror when you're coming up behind the car. And these sweeping LED lights here. And the other thing, this massive bonnet, almost like it's devouring me. It's just huge with these big air vents on the top, which are real, and that we love. Let's get this thing out in the fields and down the road and see if it really is a proper off-roader, or is it another Chelsea tractor. With the GLS you get an off-road package, and that includes 100% differential lock on the centre differential, which can really help when you're in conditions like I'm in now. You've got a dynamic select with the off-road driving mode, which I'll show you in a minute. It's a little button down in the centre console. You've got front and rear axles adapted with the 4ETS, which is amazing, and there's 3 additional selectable modes to get the underride height on this car, so you go up quite a way. It's got like an air suspension system. It's pretty amazing. There's a guard under the engine with a reinforced underbody as well, so even when you hit a few potholes, it's not going to be the end of the world. Round at the back of the GLS, well, the good looks continue. It comes with an electronic tail lift, as you would expect, because that's probably very, very heavy. Additionally, you get 7 seats in this car, and they are quite easily dropped down when you remove the parcel shelf like this, which, by the way, is very easy to remove. So you can pop it out like that, but again, there's nowhere to put it, so I'll keep hold of it because it's rather dirty here at the moment. You've got 2 buttons here, one for that seat to drop down and one for that seat to drop down, as so. How's that? Look at that. That is beautiful. Now, when all 7 seats are down, you've got 2,500 litres of boot space. That's like an entire department store you could fit in here. Underneath here, very easy accessed, is a proper spare wheel. And that, I think, in itself is a major plus point, especially if you do take this car off-road. But again, as you can see, the parcel shelf, there's just nowhere to put it. You just got to leave it there. It's got some scuff guards on here and again on here as well, but they're plastic, they're going to scratch. And if this is the type of car you're going to be using out in the fields like this, and you've got the dogs jumping in and out, or you've got pushchairs going in and out, they're not going to last that long. 12-volt adapter over here, which is fantastic, we need that. But just look at the space of this thing. And finally, almost la pièce de la résistance, up here we have a little button, and if you push that, if you so wish to drag your caravan or your horse box, we now have a tow bar. Perfect. Nice one, Mercedes. Okay, let's check out what we've got here in the rear, because you'd expect for the money something a little bit special, and you'd be right in thinking that as well, because you've got all this lovely leather and it is beautifully put together. The seats themselves, well, when you're in the rear seat you can actually recline it, which is even nicer as well. I'm going to leave it in the recline position for a minute and just jump in here and show you how much legroom you actually get, which is huge. And the height in here with these double panoramic roofs, the light, the height, everything is a nice place to sit, and you'd want to sit here for a couple of hours because you've got a DVD, you've got a TV tuner built into this as well. DVD's housed in here, and you've got your inputs here as well, which is all fantastic. It is an extra, but I think it's an essential extra if you've got a couple of young kids and you need them to keep quiet while you're doing the concentrating on the driving. Independent heating controls, and they're fully independent because you've got the adjustment here in the middle. You can set that on auto and then just stick your temperature in there. You've got your two different vents. We've also got heated rear seats as well, just here, which is absolutely lovely. Down below here you've got two 12-volt adapters so you can keep charging everything. It's got a very low tunnel section here as well, which is nice, so if you're squeezing into the middle section, it's nice and easy to get here. I wouldn't say this is the most comfortable of seats, but how often are you going to have 7 people in this car? It's most likely you're just going to have the 2 passengers here and potentially 2 kids behind. Let's jump out because I want to show you something that is so incredible, and I love this. If you want to get in and out of the back of this car, you're probably thinking, well, I'm going to have to heave this seat over and everything. Forget it, guys. Watch this. There's a little button there. Actually moves the front seat forward as well, and that comes over, all fully automatic. Now look how easy it is just to climb in the back and jump up and sit in here. We are now in another yet superb comfortable seat. It's very spacious. You've got a cup holder here. The whole thing is just built to perfection. That's the only way I can describe this. Let's take a look in the front and hopefully sum up this car, because at the moment it's just ticked every single box in my book. Here we are up front. Well, what a fantastic place to sit. Well bolstered seats as you would expect, and the comfort levels go beyond belief. It's a keyless ignition, so we'll start by getting the engine running because I need to show you a few bits and pieces. First of all, let's talk steering wheel. So this is the old original steering wheel, which I love. The new one is that big, thick, chunky one, and it just doesn't feel like a proper steering wheel. This one is really nice. You've got your controls on the left here for scrolling through the center menu in the middle here, and you've got a return to home. Over here you've got your speech recognition system, and you've got your telephone system, which is just perfect. That's all you need. Down here we've got the old style cruise control system. Again, it's so easy. You get to a speed you want to sit at and you just lift up and it holds. None of this pushing buttons and having to look down. It's pretty instantaneous as well. Wipers here, all automatic, everything. You've got a lovely adjustable steering wheel, which is electronic. I much prefer that as well, so you can set that up exactly where you want it. This car comes with 3 different color systems in here. You can't see it at the moment because it's broad daylight, but the new ones come with 64. Oh, that's a big downer, isn't it? Who really cares how many colours there are in here? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. 3 colours is fine. Don't worry about it, Mercedes. Centre section. Well, what have we got here? Large cubby hole, and unfortunately there's no wireless charging in this car, but you do get 2 USBs, plenty, and loads of cables to connect up. And to be honest, once you've got everything in there, that's all you really need. And that will all connect up directly over here, and you've got the Apple Play system as well. 6 different driving modes. Now, I know we've shown you the off-road modes and the bits and pieces like that, but also here is another button that you can adjust manually the suspension system. So if you want it to come right up and ride high, you can actually do that. If you don't want to mess around with that, just put it into off-road mode, comfort mode, sport mode, or even your own individual settings. It's so easy, it's just a twist of a button. We've got the mouse system here. You know I'm not a big fan of the mouse system because I just can't get used to it, as you can see. I don't mind it. I much prefer this system, which is just a simple click up and down, back to the menu. It's very, very easy. Separate heating controls. Again, I like this old style. I prefer this. It's much nicer. It's so easy to use. And once you've set it on auto, it's just a case of up and down. You've got front heated seats, as you would imagine, with 3 different levels on them. Then you've got your main panel here, which does your telephone, your media center, the radio. There's pretty much everything here. You can put straight into nav, and then you can just literally use your little knob round here to scroll in and out. we've pretty much covered all this. There is a center instrument cluster in between the two dials, and that will pretty much show you anything. It mirrors what's over here, so there's almost 2 screens on this car. And speaking of screens, I know it's the old style screen, but it's very pleasant. In here, well, a reasonable sized glove box. I'm sure you'll find at least a box of tissues and a bottle of water will disappear inside there, as they always do. In the center section here, we have a rollback drawer cupboard thing here, and there's 2 cup holders and a 12-volt adapter, and then just inside there's plenty of space to stick your mobile, which is perfect. All in all, this car, where does it sit price wise? Well, it starts around £72,000 on the road, and this particular car that we've been testing today retails at £83,000, but then it's fully loaded, so you know you're paying quite a few bits and pieces that you're added onto this car. Competition wise, well, I don't really need to name the competition is. I'm pretty sure you guys know exactly who we're talking about. So what it boils down to is, would I buy one of these or would I buy the competition? Do you know what? Sign me up. I want one of these. So let's check out under the bonnet what this car actually has. It's got a couple of nice pneumatic struts, so you don't need to put your back out lifting that huge bonnet that it's got on it. Again, there isn't much to see, but what's under here can impress most people, because this is a V6 turbo diesel engine developing 260 brake horsepower. But the most important thing of all, it has 620 Newton meters of torque. That's almost enough power to relight a dying star. The car itself, well, 35 miles to the gallon, 140 mile an hour top speed, and 0 to 60 sub 8 seconds. Wow. So, the GLS 350D, probably one of the best all-round cars, one of the most versatile cars that you're going to get your hands on in today's market. I know it's on the upper end of the price bracket, but a car like this, you pay for what you get, and this really does deliver. It's powerful, it's smooth, you can get off-road with it, and driving it out on the road like we are now, it's just a pleasure, to be honest with you. You've been watching me, Andy Jones, The Player YouTube channel, and we've got literally hundreds of other reviews on cars, so if you're interested in anything else, check it out, it's well worth it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe and comment if you want to. Love the comments, send them in. If you want to add something to this, please do so. Anything else, say what you like. Catch you next week with another car. Thanks for watching.